Alright guys, thanks so much for tuning in. In today's video, I'm going to share with you a new model upcoming from Olamic Cutlery. So this is actually called the Olamic Wayfarer 24/7, and this is a Midtech, which is kind of a new transition or a new chapter for Olamic Cutlery. So we'll go through the basic format, specs, overall impressions, details. I did get to talk to Eugene before the video, so a lot of cool insight on the knife and the background and kind of where Olamic is headed. So let's talk about what it ships with real quick. You actually get this really cool zipper pouch from Olamic Cutlery. Knife sits in there, and it also comes with a keychain / pivot tool. So this is the pivot tool to go into their proprietary pivot. And I asked Eugene, I'm like, well, you know, how sturdy is this thing? Is it actually going to last? Because it seems pretty, I don't know, pretty thin. And Eugene told me this is the tool that they use in their shop to tune each and every knife. So anyways, pretty cool. I'm glad that they include that with the knife. We'll talk about the proprietary pivot later, but it ships with the knife. It's not something you have to pay for above and beyond. So, all right, that's what the knife ships with. Let's get into, I guess let's talk real quick about this. So as I mentioned, this is a Midtech. This is the first of at least 2, possibly 3 Midtechs for Olamic Cutlery. And the reason that this came about is, well, a couple of reasons actually. First is that Eugene wanted to create a knife that people would actually carry. So those of you familiar with Olamic Cutlery and the Wayfarer know that essentially Olamic Cutlery is a company that produces one-off knives for the most part when talking about folders, and they have a team of artisans as opposed to just one custom maker, but their motto is never the same. And if you guys looked around and seen the different Wayfarers out there, that certainly holds true. But what Eugene found is that most people buy them and they keep them in the safe. You know, they really treasure them, but they don't carry them. So that was the approach for this knife, to create something that carried well, cut well, flipped well, and, you know, just kind of an all-around EDC knife. So this is called the Wayfarer 24/7. And yeah, the estimated ETA is about the end of March, early April. These will primarily be offered through dealers, and there will be dealer exclusives. So now let's get into the specs. So we're taking a look at a titanium frame lock flipper here. And this is just one of several variations, but it has a blade length of just about 3.5 inches, handle length of about 4.65 inches. The handle thickness is 0.48 inches, and the blade thickness here is about 0.136 inches or 3.56 millimeters. So relatively thin blade stock on a relatively thin knife. Does weigh in at 4.25 ounces, which is a very reasonable weight for a full titanium knife. And it does use stainless steel caged bearings, and I believe this one does have a stainless steel detent as well. So blade steel is Elmax, and this one is in a first it's PVD coated and then stonewashed, and it gives it that cool kind of hard use look. And then the PVD also protects the steel and I don't know, I guess you can say it protects the titanium to an extent. But primarily a flipper here with the opening method. It does have a stainless steel lock insert, which has been heat treated, so you shouldn't need to worry about that at all. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the specs on this knife. So overall impressions, you know, it was Eugene and the guys at Olamic Cutlery's intention to create a knife that would be used and carried, and you know, just a great EDC knife. And I think this knife checks all those boxes, and then some. You know, relatively thin, feels good in the hand, carries well. The prices are going to be you know, much lower than the custom variants of the Wayfarers. They're also larger So really cool offering from a really unique company that's kind of had its own niche for quite some time in the industry. So I like it quite a bit. This one is just on loan, so it's going to have to go back, sadly. But Eugene did say I could hold it for another week or two here before I need to send it back. So I do plan to carry it and enjoy it in that time there. Anyways, that's it for the specs and the overall impressions. Let's get into the details. So as I mentioned, so first we'll go through the details on the knife, and then I'm going to give you a bit more about the details on Olamic here. So Elmax blade, again, relatively thin blade stock, and then the shoulders are not, there's a swedge up top, not lots of nice belly, great edge on this one, but the shoulders here are relatively thin. They're not pronounced, and so in cutting, the knife performs very, very well here. Comes down to a nice keen edge. So now, as you can see, there is a thumb hole in this one. Now this knife has really been tuned to optimize the flipping action, so I can't really get the thumb hole to work. Primarily aesthetic on this one, although some of the other prototypes have a little bit lighter detent, so you can use the thumb hole, but I think that most of you guys watching would prefer to have a dedicated flipper, better flipping action. So I'm definitely fine with that choice. Now the flipper tab, as you can see, there's a transition in the titanium up into the flipper tab. We've seen that with some other custom makers before, but it works well to let you get your finger on the tab. No jimping, but it doesn't slip. There's a slight ramp with jimping here on the spine of the blade, so it gives you a good traction point. You can come all the way up here too. So, all right, that's pretty much it for the blade. Really cool titanium pivot with proprietary hardware. My thing with proprietary hardware is I'm fine as long as it is serviceable and the tool is included. If it's something where I have to go buy the tool outside of the knife, I don't love that in the slightest. So I do like the proprietary hardware on this one, on the pivot. The body screws are just Torx here, so yeah, looks good, cool pivot. As you can see, this one's got some carry marks. This one was actually, Eugene carried this one for a couple weeks before sending it out to me to do the video here, so yeah. Now this one has been given a really cool sculpted pattern here. Offers plenty of traction, nothing is sharp on it. I really do like the texture here, the carving done on this one. So, yeah. No sharp edges on the knife. Quite comfortable in the hand. Here we are, my extra large hands. Almost has like a fighting pommel here at the end, but I can get a full grip. Feel like I have plenty of control. So, yeah. Alright, let's take a look at the kind of a floating back spacer here. Now, with these knives, there's actually going to be a few different versions, and they'll have different prices and also different customization options. Now, basically, these are going to end up at dealers, and so the guys at Olamic will be customizing kind of to their liking. There's going to be quite a few different variants out there, even among the, the carved. Some of them might have cool back spacers, different types of pocket clips, different materials being used, inlays. Yeah, just a lot of different options, true to Olamic Cutlery's kind of history and their niche in the market. So yeah, so again, this one is more of a kind of a straightforward, aside from the carving, it's fairly basic, nothing too crazy on this one. But some of the other ones I've already seen have like Damascus inlays, Damascus pocket clips. And he did mention, so let's talk about the different types, but he did mention that the carved ones here will be a bit more rare than the flat or plain handled ones. So if you want to go with kind of the bare bones, basic flat handles, Elmax steel, those ones are going to run around $375. This one with the sculpting is going to be around $445. And then if you want to go with ones with like, Timascus inlay and pocket clip, those will go up to like $5.95. So different options, different levels, and again, within each of those tiers, there'll be different customization just based on what the dealers have. So let's take a look at the pocket clip. It is a, I guess we call it a spring clip, but you have the 3 pillars here creating the space. You have a bag style ceramic ball, and this one is marked prototype, which is really cool. So the pocket clip works really well. And, the concept behind this one is it's somewhat modular. As he was mentioning, if you get one with like a piece of Timascus and the thing gets all scratched up, you just take off the pocket clip, throw it in a bag, ship it to them, they'll refinish it and get it back to you. So, yeah. Very generous lanyard hole at the back for those of you guys that like lanyards. Centering is spot on. Lockup is about 30%. Not sure if you're going to be able to see that, but yeah. So, yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for the knife. Don't think I missed anything. But yeah, just a really cool offering, kind of a new direction again for Olamic Cutlery. So, some of the different materials that you might see on them are Damascus, Timascus, G10, Moonglow, obviously titanium. Some of the back spacers will have file work. Some of them might have, different machining. So lots of cool things out there. Again, there'll be dealer exclusives. I don't know what that'll entail, but just keep your eyes peeled for the end of March/early April for this knife to hit the dealers. So, all right. So in talking to Eugene, we were talking about the different types of people that collect Olamic Cutlery knives. Back when they first started in 2010 with the Russian fixed blades that were coming in, those were primarily guys who ordered through magazines. I think he said they made over 2,000 of them, and he doesn't know where any of them are because the guys that collect them don't really have much presence online or social media or any of those things. So a lot of them out there, but they rarely come up anymore. So that was 2010. Mid-2013 is when the Wayfarer came into play, and that was designed by Michael Vagnino, and he is a custom maker out of California. And so what they had then was, it's the larger 4-inch version with liner locks, and each one of those was essentially a one-off knife. And again, Michael Vagnino, he's essentially the shop manager. They have 3 guys who work in the shop, as well as Eugene, who's the company owner, and his father. So, small group, very talented guys. Michael Vagnino is a knife maker of certainly some reputation. And so so there's going to be plenty of videos on YouTube about the custom Wayfarers, the full-size 4-inch ones. They did a couple compact as well. And now here we are, 2016, moving into more of the Midtech. They are still going to do the custom versions of the Wayfarer, the one-offs that many of you are aware of. But this is a new direction in terms of getting more of them out there, more attractive price point, and one, again, that Eugene wanted people to actually carry and use. And I don't think anyone's going to have any qualms about carrying or using these knives. Certainly designed for that in mind and executed with that in mind very, very well. So, yeah. All right, guys, I guess we'll leave it there. Those of you who know Eugene and Olamic Cutlery, great guy to deal with. They do a really good job with their warranty work, if there is any, and just a cool company to keep your eye on. So again, look at the dealers to see when these come up in about a month or so. And thanks again to Eugene for letting me get my grubby hands on this one for a few weeks here. So, all right, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I really enjoyed having the opportunity to share it with you. Please give me a thumbs up if you did. Click subscribe if you're not subscribed. And you can also follow me on Instagram as Epic Snuggle Bunny. And then also the Modern Neanderthal podcast. We're going pretty consistent at this point now. So take care, guys. See ya.